It's not the first time a bank robbery has turned into a potentially explosive situation. In 2003, pizza delivery man Brian Wells claimed a man forced him to rob this Pennsylvania bank with a ticking time bomb strapped to his neck.
From the surface, it probably looked as though this guy was completely innocent to the police when this first happened. Just a simple pizza delivery driver, a delivery gone wrong that resulted in a bomb being strapped around his neck, and one of the most bizarre deaths caught on live television. Now, presumably, most of the people that watch my channel are between the ages of 14 to 25, and therefore, I'm going to go out on a limb here and state most of you have probably never heard of Brian Wells, the infamous pizza driver. Back in 2003, though, he was all over national news, and he was referred to as
Pizza Bomber.
Pizza Bomber.
As Pizza Bomber.
So, on August 28th of 2003, Brian Wells, who worked at Mamma Mia's Pizzeria in Erie, Pennsylvania, had an order that came in for delivery at 1:30 p.m. This order seemed relatively normal. However, when he went to deliver the pizza, he found out that he was going to a very remote location out in the middle of the woods. From here, it was unclear as to exactly what transpired, but when Brian Wells left, there was a bomb collar attached to his neck with instructions telling him to go rob a bank for $250,000. Specifically, Brian was instructed to go to PNC Bank in Erie, Pennsylvania, where he handed the teller a note demanding $250,000. He was equipped with not only the bomb collar around his neck, but a firearm as well, and there was a time crunch here. He was given only 15 minutes to get that amount of money, otherwise he was going to be in serious trouble. Unfortunately for Brian, banks typically do not carry hundreds of thousands of dollars in their vault, and instead he only left with $8,702, well below that $250,000 mark. Despite this fact though, and despite the fact that Brian believed he was being watched, nothing happened quite yet. Shortly after Brian left, the police were contacted by the bank, and they very quickly found him in a nearby adjacent parking lot. It was here that more information was divulged. Brian was also given a note to go complete a scavenger hunt that would eventually lead him to find the key, and that would be the key to his freedom, removing the collar. The police, however, did not let Brian go, so they ended up handcuffing him and calling the bomb squad to come hopefully remove that collar. During a very tense 30-minute period, while waiting for the bomb squad, Brian was yelling that he was telling the truth, that he didn't have very much time, and shortly, roughly 3 minutes before the bomb squad arrived, the device detonated, and Brian ended up losing his life immediately. After the climax of this incident resulting in Brian's death, police searched his car where they found out that he was indeed telling the truth about a scavenger hunt. Inside, there was a note telling him where to go for the next clue, and this also made things very apparent because police, after following that clue, realized that the next clue had been removed. That meant there was somebody else involved in this plot, the person who placed the collar on Brian, and that also meant that they were close and watching. Now, at this point, you might be thinking the case is very cut and dry. Brian had absolutely nothing to do with this plot, and he was just a completely innocent pizza delivery driver who got caught up with a bad crowd. You would be completely wrong, though. This story goes much deeper than it looks on the surface. This probably sounds like a crazy transition, but trust me, you did not accidentally skip forward in the video. 3 weeks after the botched bank robbery, a man by the name of Bill Rothstein ended up calling the police and confessed that there was a body in his freezer. Trust me, this will be more relevant in a minute. It was determined that the body in the freezer belonged to a man by the name of James Roden, who had a previous relationship with a woman named Marjorie Dale Armstrong, who was also the ex of Bill Rothstein. Now, where these different characters fit in with this plot is the fact that Marjorie was actually the mastermind behind the pizza bomber heist and its inevitable failure. James was initially going to be involved in this, her ex-boyfriend, but after he got squirrely, was not a fan of this, and threatened to tell the police, Marjorie ended up taking his life and storing him in the freezer. Initially, Bill told the police that the reason why Marjorie had taken James's life was because there was a small money dispute. However, he would later confess that it had everything to do with the pizza bomber plot, and this is where the pieces started coming together a little bit more.
I think she said she shot him twice.
She's asking for help. Why do you decide to help?
Why did I decide it?
because I felt sorry for her. You know, I tried to help her before with other things, not like this, and I thought maybe I could do something. So I just thought about getting rid of the body, but to me, getting rid of the body was taking it out of the house and getting rid of it, but not destroying it, but just like putting it in some safe place, and I'd figure out, like maybe I'd figure out later on what to do with it, you know.
Because they already had enough evidence on Marjorie to convict her of taking James's life, in 2005 she was given 20 years behind bars for his death. That being said, it was much harder to prove that she was actually the mastermind behind the whole pizza bomber incident. That is until a little bit later, when another co-conspirator by the name of Kenneth Barnes came forward after freely talking to his family about his involvement with it, and he also confirmed that Marjorie was the mastermind behind it. In addition to this, Kenneth also stated that Brian Wells, the delivery driver who had the bomb strapped around his neck, was also a co-conspirator, and that he was supposed to be involved in this and not actually die. According to Kenneth, Brian believed that this collar was going to be a decoy, not an actual explosive device. As it turns out, Marjorie, who is a very sick individual herself, decided to have some insurance there and made sure that it was completely real so that she wouldn't have any chance of getting caught. At least that's what I believe. That being said, to this date, Brian Wells' family still believes that he was completely innocent and that he was just a bystander that accidentally walked in on this plot. A bunch of other people believe that no, he was in fact involved, but either way, this is one of the most bizarre bank heists that I've ever read about. In fact, this might be one of the most bizarre video topics that I've ever covered. And this happened 22 years ago in 2003. If you guys want, there's a fantastic Netflix documentary that talks about this. It's called The Evil Mastermind, I believe. Either way, I would highly recommend checking that out if you guys are interested. As always, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Drop a comment, letting me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.